one of the most amazing movies that you have to see. If I were to die tomorrow, I'd watch this tonight. What Happened to Monday is a movie where you can only have one child due to overpopulation, but one couple ended up having 7 identical girls.
A lot of studios, a lot of movies just not touching. I remember watching this movie for the first time on Netflix and I almost lost my mind. 10 out of 10.
What Happened to Monday is about 7 identical sisters that are playing the same person until one of them goes missing.
I lived it to the fullest. If I fall, if I die, no, I lived in missing bullets. I'll be fine.
So first estate, I fell in love with a girl.
This movie is insane. I can't get over how crazy this movie is, so just hear me out.
Have you ever seen What Happened to Monday? No,
I don't think so. I don't think I've seen it. Is that bad? Do I need to watch it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, fine. But I had this whole thing planned out. I was gonna review the beta test.
Fine. Everything's great with me. This isn't a midlife crisis. I'll let you know when I'm having one of those. Hey Jacqueline, perfect timing.
My performance as a douchebag with a podcast would have been amazing, but I'm a little curious. I thought of doing a series in which I look into the mystical world of TikTok movie reviews, you know, why that's like still a thing or that's around, to see if I should let them cook. Far and Beyond, this is the movie that a lot of TikTokers recommended, and it seems up my alley. And the spin-off series also seems to be fun, so let's find out what happened to Monday. Oh my god, you guys, you have to see this movie. There's so many twists and turns. Naomi Rapace plays a bunch of siblings, all named after a day of the week, and it is wild and crazy. So this world has enacted a one-child policy, and I know I've only been describing the plot details, but yeah, speaks for itself. I was blown away, and you will be too. Watch it. Okay, for starters, this movie is on the disbelief suspension wire. This movie reminds me of The Purge, in that it is an absurd dystopian world that really has no basis in reality or realism or common sense. It kind of reminds me of Ayn Rand, which I know we aren't super big fans of Rand, but we tend to Atlas shrug it off for the hyper-political nonsense, as at least we understand it to be a decent thought exercise and nothing we should take too seriously. So what is the flavor of the month for this dystopian society? Overpopulation is bad, which I think is the tamest world issue because it's more or less a logistical fact. I mean, to some degree, the resources of Earth, food supply, usable irrigation water, oxygen production, and surface area. I'm not really a math guy, so I don't know exactly what the breaking point is, but I know that if you keep adding 1 billion lions, that at some point the planet will turn into a Travis Scott concert. In this hypothetical, the EU takes charge because I know these are not the solutions the US would come up with. Not one bit. So instead of bombing half the planet over a dwindling crude oil supply, or just letting the NRA issue everyone a gun in hopes that we all just GTA each other, or maybe even just make hard drugs legal but heavily taxed.
I still want that gas, yes, and you had better deliver.
Instead, we're going with the boring answer, which is just fast track and over-reliance on GMO crops. Again, I'm sure America would just let McDonald's make something like this sludge burger from SpongeBob before we put all our eggs in just making a big-ass romaine lettuce. Oh no, that backfires so the plot of the movie can happen, and apparently that lettuce makes everyone super fertile, and that throws, throw in birth defects. That we never really see it, so... But they're there, I'm sure. I'm assuming it's like the Children of the Little Mind situation. With that, I guess we have to break out old, reliable, one-child policy on a global scale. However, this time, I promise this is gonna be more humane, because we're going to cryo-sleep the children. And that's what they're going with, and in a new segment, they show that this policy is retrofitted, so if your child already exists, they're getting cryo sleep, or they have to do it at like an older age. So it's not just like, oh, newborn babies or like fetuses in the womb. It's like 5 to 6 year old children. So yes, please surrender your children and allow us to put them under cryo sleep. And they'll wake up like, the Clone High show, and we'll spend billions upon billions to keep a bunch of children frozen so we can bring them back in the future. Scout's honor. How did all the GMO products cause birth defects? Couldn't they have done something to correct that? Why didn't they just mandate birth control or force people who have children to get a vasectomy and that just naturally weed out the twin multibirth? They do know most overpopulation is from impoverished nations, right? Would probably take less taxpayer dollars to just assist them in constructing agricultural systems. Fortunately, there is one man who is bold enough to say,
"But you can't do this to me."
Willem Dafoe has to take care of the quintessential quintuplets plus 2, and instead of playing by the rules, he has a perfect plan. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. However, the 7 of them will combine to be the ultimate Karen Setman. Each day of their name, that person is responsible to leave the house and be this person. This helps have some impact on their identities, as Saturday is more carefree, while Sunday the churchgoer is the faithful one, etc., etc. Unfortunately, their plan goes awry pretty quickly when Thursday decides to sneak out so she could go be a pro skater 3. Unfortunately, I guess she skates like Peter Griffin or something, as her finger is almost completely detached. How does that one work? So this scene could happen. So I guess the logical conclusion is that Thursday is off the team and now just has to be a child who lives in the house, and the other sisters could draw straws on who gets the extra day. Or alternatively,
oh, I have all my fingers, the knife goes chop chop chop.
Are we really to believe that these children remembered everything from the day just because they watched a video of what happened? We're also led to believe that these children never exposed the secret once, and that nothing notable happened while they were children. How would they never notice this lady has 7 times more food consumption than everyone else? Willem Dafoe can make a snazzy trapdoor, but he can't make prosthetic fingernails. This is a good example that introduces the theme of altruism versus individual freedom. How much are these Naomi Rapaces willing to sacrifice for the betterment of their family, which to a degree, the government is willing to suppress individual freedoms with a for the greater good logic as well, so it all kind of comes together. Then we skip ahead to when they're older and we don't have to pay Willem Dafoe to be in the movie any longer.
"But you can't do this to me."
We start by following the day of Monday and how she's up for promotion, but her evil-looking coworker seems sus of her and might be hinting at blackmailing her. I forgot dude's name, but for all intents and purposes, this guy is Red Herring.
All right, Red, where were you on the night of June 16th? How many fingers am I holding up? How much do you weigh? What's the capital of Nebraska?
Maybe he's someone we should keep an eye on. Or maybe not. Monday is missing, which is out of character for Little Miss Perfect. Has Monday been reported and detained by ICE? Or die? Or who knows what happens? I'm sure this could have been an interesting premise for more of a mystery, slowly unraveling what happened. No. Stupid. Stupid you, we're not doing that. Silly you thought this was a mystery. You're wrong. Go home. Tuesday on her day tries to fish for information in a comedically non-inconspicuous way. But little does this matter because, oh no, they're gonna capture her, and Hillary Thatcher says this played out just like the one before her, so mystery solved. I guess that's why there's no question mark in the title. The movie is very unconcerned with mystery. This is actually a John Wick movie now. Guys with guns show up and we have a pretty sick action piece. Both silly but high stakes, and I appreciate that we lose Sunday, so there was, something to lose. Yeah, it's a bunch of Naomi Rapaces, but it makes sense that these guys aren't that terrible at their job, Wednesday then goes to confront Red Herring, and he reveals that the reason he's blackmailing Karen has nothing to do with their family secret, but because Karen was doing some under-the-rug campaign donations to Hillary Thatcher. And what's kind of obvious now, but maybe there's still a reason to figure out. Oh well, Red Herring has served his purpose, so goodbye. This kind of displays when a tight script could be a negative. Balanced writing definitely helps, and I think there's an art to being concise and meaningful. in every step of the way. It really effective to trim the fat. However, letting your idea breathe or having small characterizations can do a lot as well. It's hard to take our red herring seriously when we really are only given one scene to make him seem really suspicious, and then he's out of the narrative. I really don't think the film does a great job at displaying all the siblings as different people. Naomi Rapace is amazing in this film. She's great. She's putting on all these great performances. I think she delivers the lines well. She has presence as each of them, just that presence doesn't air a different breath for each sibling, if that makes sense. And that's more on the writing of the movie than the performance. They probably wanted it to be more subtle, given that they are all playing the role of Karen Setman, so maybe that's, stunted their character diversity. But it just feels like their defining traits are that's the blonde one. That's the buff one. She's kind of the hacker nerd. These are all like observations and not really character traits, and the tight plot is just constantly in motion. That they're more just cogs in the machine, more identical to the role they play than their personality. Especially because every girl is interchangeable. Apparently an agent shows up at the door, but another mystery devolves because he's not here for what you may think.
What?
It raises the question of which sister has gone rogue and has a relationship with this guy. I want you to take a guess. Which one could it possibly be? Now listen, this is a pre-recorded video. I can't hear what you're saying, but I'm assuming you've seen a movie before, so congrats, you are correct. This is when wacky hijinks ensue because Saturday now has to go and do the do with the agent, but oh no, Saturday's a virgin. Something that makes sense because if there's any day of the week that gets no action, it's Saturday. Ugh. I feel like this is just a missed opportunity to do something a little deeper. Like, if this was Thursday instead of, Saturday. I think they're trying to go with, like, it's shocking that Saturday. It's like a funny comedic beat. But I really felt like it would have been something if, like, maybe this says something about how little they actually know each other and are implying that Thursday have any of them? Also a scene that makes this plot highly questionable. Willem Dafoe tells all the girls that they need to report every detail of their day, and they do so by playing back footage of what they saw that day. I'm going to say it's fair play that they don't actually watch someone's day from start to finish, but how was one of them able to hide a whole relationship with a person? Wouldn't someone at least be curious about why there's a huge gap in their edited footage from the daily report? So then I had a boring business meeting, followed by my lunch break, and then I just walked home and there's nothing really to report. More meaningful or impactful if it was someone like Thursday or Wednesday or someone in the middle of the week who never really got to have that, like, relationship because they're always crammed in the middle of the week. Maybe they're making the point that, like, since Saturday never had, like, school or, like, work, which also isn't kind of how work works, that maybe she doesn't have as much, like, familiar relationships, but it also makes you think, like, what is she doing if she's not, like, leisure. Like, just want to make a quick point. This Agent Smith guy definitely knows what movie he's in, and what a great time he's having. He's apparently had enough of Wednesday's dance. I just like this scene. Good show.
Take one step on that rope and I'll cut it.
So eventually the agents get to Saturday and Friday would rather upload her digital scrapbook to the cloud than continue on. So we're just down to Thursday, the pro skater prodigy. Knowing that Monday is still alive because there she is in the live footage of the containment cell. Who would have guessed she's alive and well? That's good. Let's go get her. Have you figured it out? Really? You should know exactly what's happening. Oh my god, it's Tuesday in the cell. Monday sold them out because she fell in love with the border agent. Thursday and Monday have a scuffle. Peacemaker. What a joke. Uh-oh. It was Thursday, and then they hack and do the whole expose in front of the entire school scene. Sorry, Hillary Thatcher, you've been exposed. Turns out you weren't spending a gazillion dollars to treat a bunch of randos like the head of Walt Disney. No, instead we're just going to, I guess, introduce them to bad CGI. It's hard to tell. Then Monday, with her dying breath, decides to shoot nobody, but cool, I guess. She convinces Thursday to take care of her fetus babies, which opens up a whole can of worms. Apparently Monday is Purgante, and she did all this as a last-ditch effort to protect her kids. willing to sell out her sisters for these babies. However, they were able to take her fetuses, and before she did take them to an artificial womb, is that not like a lot to happen and work in a very small window of time and for any of this to work? Oh boy. In the end, this is all an end around anti-abortion metaphor? I see a lot of reviews, and maybe it's too apparent, but no one's really bringing this up. This whole story is about giving unborn children a chance at life and the sacrifices of parenthood to provide such a life, and the justifications to terminate such life is seen as evil. And right, that's kind of what they're saying, right? I think that brings us right back to the Ayn Rand comparisons, in that I think dystopian stuff often works better when they're twisting general principles and philosophies to challenge ideas. Collectivism and altruism are noble pursuits, but how much individual freedoms would you sacrifice? We can examine that through the lens of extreme scenarios. That's at least an interesting, but it always goes a little too much deeper into the more personal politics, where it's like, yeah, and then it's like, abortion's evil, and I don't think a little YouTube guy, I'm equipped to handle the nuances and severity of such an issue. So I'm just gonna go back to this guy. As much as this review is probably coming across as contrarian or negative, I would say I get it. I wish it was more consistent either way. I would have played a little bit longer with the mystery elements or had more action set pieces than I would have gone, hey, this is slightly more interesting Atomic Blonde. I think this one did exceed expectations for a Netflix flick, and a TikTok recommended one at that. There's a lot of good ideas, but I'm not totally in love with the overall execution. Perhaps this could have worked better as a miniseries, one that allows the changes in directions to feel more like their own unique episodes. Maybe giving each girl one focused episode would really separate them from the bunch, and some of the ideas would marinate a little better. A lot of the reviews on Letterboxd mention Orphan Black, but it's supposed to be a series with a similar enough concept. I haven't seen it, but it's got She-Hulk in it, and it might be a good time. I don't know, who knows? Someone in the comments will probably say something, I don't know. Honestly, it was very engaging and a unique film. Naomi Rapace was great, and even if I wish she got something better to work with, she's captivating the whole way through. I do agree this has fallen somewhat under the radar. I made it be like a 6.5 out of 10. I think it's good, it's fun to watch, it's a unique tale, but there's a lot to be said about the execution. Did you agree with consensus that this one was underwhelming, or with TikTok that this was a spectacular spectacle, or with me that it's a pretty good but flawed ride? Let me know what you think in the comment sections. Is this for you? And I'll see you at the movies. It's my turn! You said it was my turn! Alright, calm down, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I don't really matter which one of us closes the deal. Of course you would say that. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting to say it this time. You turned the recording off, right? I'll see you at the movies.
I don't care.